It's the Odd Drunk Podcast, a very strange podcast, the drunkest show in the world. It's Jackson and Colton talking out of their ass. We don't care as long as drinks are poured. Sometimes we have our friends here. We will talk about anything. We don't care as long as we have beer. And if you let that whiskey ring. The Odd Drunk Podcast.
No, we're not. Hey, Colton.
Headphones, I did not like that.
We're not even going to use that for an intro for a bit. We just did an ASMR bit. Nah. I'm not going to subject. I will not let Colton subject you guys to that. Okay? But anyways, welcome back to the Odd Drunk Pod.
Yes.
We are going to be reviewing some albums again. Album reviews number 3, Electric Diddly. I don't know. Album reviews 3.
We don't know how to overuse that joke when it comes to
The third one.
Yeah. But yeah, we're reviewing albums again. We're changing up the format. We have 5 albums this time.
We do, but we're not going to tell you. We will tell you as we review them. And if you haven't heard any of our show before, we cover all sorts of topics. But if you want to hear more of our album reviews, we have 2 other ones. Because this is the third. We didn't just go from 1 to number 3.
Although we should do that sometime.
Sometime. That would be good. But yeah, we every once in a while, because we are also musicians and fans of music, and we like talking about music, sometimes. We do album reviews. And usually the formula. Well, before I even talk about the formula of it, if you're a new listener, or if you haven't done this yet, you better do it. You better follow our Instagram if you want that juicy content. I kind of skimped over the last episode. Been busy. But I promise there will be content there. And do that.
You better do that because we got a cool limited time Coors can here.
We do,
actually. Take a picture of.
I should take a picture of that.
I'm sure Jason would just have fangirl over it.
Yeah, my dad, who he's been on the show, and actually our origin episode, our first episode, part of our origin story, we talked about dad rock. So we did start on music, actually.
Yeah, our origin story comes from is from like talking about dad things, and Spider-Man's origin story is where his father figure dies.
His father figure, yeah.
So which makes us like kind of like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
In a way.
Speaking of which, we've done various Spider-Man episodes. We have our Spider-Maning About, or whatever it's called. The one we rank all the Spider-Man movies.
Itsy Bitsy Spider-Man.
We rank the Spider-Man movies from worst to best. Yeah. Itsy Bitsy Spider-Man. Yeah, sorry.
That's what we titled.
And then we also reviewed No Way Home. If you want to check that out, even though you've already seen the movie, everyone's already seen the movie.
You should go watch it again.
You should listen to our review because our opinion is important.
We're important. We swear.
We
Listen, trust
I'm
us.
important, Mom. But anyways, we got some great old and new, as we've done in the other album reviews. We will talk about some old ones and some new ones, and we've got some good old ones and new ones.
Yes.
Well, we have new ones. I'll just leave it at that.
Some good old ones and good old ones and some new ones.
But anyways, before we get into that, and I'm not gonna lie, we did pregame. Me and Colton have lives outside of this podcast. We drank at a bar.
Yeah, and, we drink outside of just
podcast. But to you, we're just disembodied voices that you listen to. Yeah,
and part of me wants to just preserve the illusion that that's actually what we are, is disembodied voices.
Even though there is things to prove against that.
Yeah.
Even on our Instagram. Check out our Instagram if you want proof that we're real. Is that really us, though? I guess you'll never know.
Sowing some seeds of doubt. Some mystery.
We're dumb. But anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're drinking a bit.
So
tonight.
what are we drinking? That's our segment, and yeah, we need a soundboard. I know sound effects would be so nice, but right now, what are we drinking?
Here's a sound effect.
There you go,
There.
Analog. That's analog right there.
Yeah, old school.
Old school. Yeah, haven't done one of those in a while. A nice pop of the can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a Coors Banquet.
Yeah, you've been drinking a lot of those recently.
It's because they're cheap and I've been broke.
Yep. That podcast life, bro.
Yeah, they got a limited series can here though, which is pretty cool. We'll have a picture up, but I like this can. What do you think of this can?
It's good.
It's a good can.
It's a good can. Let me get all analytical about it. I really like how it's split in half horizontally, and the top part is a nice deep bronze.
Yeah.
And then the bottom part's the classic, beige color. But, it's a Coors Banquet. Is it a Pilsner?
Yeah. Okay. So this is gonna be this. I'm gonna be embarrassed by this. I didn't know until this week that Coors
It's a
Banquet
Pilsner?
were Pilsners.
It doesn't taste like it.
I just assumed they were lagers, like American lagers, because that's what they taste like.
I'm very confused
They're
now.
pretty bland, but apparently they are Pilsners.
Quality and tradition.
Oh, you're spilling a little.
Whoops. Trying to read and I'm spilling his beer. I owe you one. I mean, you have more down.
I have. They're over here.
Oh, you moved them.
I have a whole box of them.
Quality and tradition.
I'm not going to drink the whole box tonight, although I'm sure everyone would love that.
I'm sure we could.
I would not love that.
Not in the morning.
Yeah.
If you're under 21, you wouldn't know what that means. You better not know what that means.
Yeah.
And
we don't support underage drinking here.
Yeah, but we do support overage drinking.
Maybe.
We don't condone it.
Yeah. We at least don't control.
It happens.
It
happens.
We're ambivalent.
It's a part of reality, and you can't change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ambivalent? What is the word? Ambiguous. Oh, no.
A lot of things on the show.
I'm looking for a word, but I can't find it. I'm just going to move on.
Yeah. So quality. This is from the bottle. I mean the can. Sorry, I've been drinking. And I didn't even drink that hard.
Yeah,
I've had a long day.
We only had like a few, but
I've been up since like 6 a.m.
From this intro so far, you would assume that we're really drunk already.
Yeah.
I promise you, we're not. We are.
I can
just
promise you,
mentally exhausted.
The stresses of academia and being up since 6 a.m. and finally having some drinks is getting to me.
School is like drinking.
Except
anyone who's under 21 here listening, school having good grades is just as much of a high as drinking a bunch of beers. So
it's not.
Instead of drinking, go do your homework.
Hey, I know what.
Also, if you're under 18, you shouldn't be listening to this. This podcast is explicit.
Yeah, but they have TikTok. They have the internet. You know what?
I'm just covering our asses.
Anyone that's listening to this,
give me that beer.
I blame it on your parents. You can read it then. But anyways, I blame your parents if you're listening to
yeah, reading.
All the 9-year-olds listening to this, why? I hope you're not.
I hope there's no 9-year-olds listening to this. That'd be weird.
I feel like our demographic is about from like 18 to like 30.
Yeah,
we can't see any of that, but
probably unless there's
some 80-year-old listening to us.
If there's some 80-year-olds that are like listen to us every week, I want to know about that. This says quality and tradition worth keeping. A commitment to quality has been passed down through the 5 generations of the Coors family. For decades, our dedicated Colorado farmers and banquet brewers have helped maintain the finest hops, barley, and yeast. I had to really try hard to read that.
That's not a good sign.
It was a little blurry on my end.
Again, I'm drinking bamboo rum from, I believe, from Barbados, but I think it's actually manufactured. And
it's good shit.
It says
I'll
it's
tell you that.
This one's a product of Panama, manufactured, imported by in New York.
So it's a New Yorkian rum.
Yeah.
Panamanian. New York.
I know we don't have too many New Yorkers listening to us, but there is a lot of New Jersey listeners.
Yeah,
and I
shout
think
out,
I might have.
shout out to our 10 listeners over in Pakistan.
Yeah, shout out to them. But shout out to our New Jersey listeners here in the States.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think I kind of made
consistent downloads from New Jersey.
I think I made fun of New Jersey a little bit in one of our
we've
Batman
made fun
episodes.
of New Jersey several times.
But it's
in our episodes.
It's nice that you're gluttons for the pun. No, but we love you guys.
It's all
but,
good fun. We love you. Yeah, New Jersey.
Go New Jersey.
I have a coworkers from New Jersey.
There you go.
Yeah, she's cool.
We make fun of everything, though.
Yeah.
The more you listen to us, we make fun of ourselves.
Yeah.
Like you can make fun of us, but we're already doing that for you. Anyways, yeah. So we're gonna talk about some albums here. Yeah, some albums. Yeah.
What else are you drinking? You have something else there.
I do. I do have something else here. This time of year, especially once it starts warming up, Kona Brewing from Hawaii.
They're real good.
They're one of my favorite breweries, one of my favorite beers to drink. I always get their mixed packs.
Yeah.
And I am down to one of my least favorites. It's one of their IPAs, Castaway.
Yeah.
Actually, Castaway's not the least favorite.
I like their longboard lager.
Longboard lager is great.
Really good.
They have a red ale.
Their golden ale is pretty good.
Golden ale.
Yeah. Yeah. Kona Brewing's pretty good. Go drink Kona Brewing. If you see them at the store, they're pretty widely available.
Yeah.
I
I always get a little.
We also got some Plantation 20th anniversary here. Fancy.
I'm actually shocked you still have any of that because you've been talking about that one.
Yeah, I've had it for a while.
A long ass time
now,
since like December.
It's a special rum. I don't drink it all the time.
I would have already drinking it.
Yeah, I believe
I'm bad about this.
I believe you. It's good shit. It's good shit. So albums.
Yeah, so we got a couple each.
Yeah. So what are we? We're gonna go on chronologically here.
We always have Colton.
Right.
So that would lay onto you for the first album, which I've listened to it.
Yeah, I really like this album. I have it on vinyl.
So what is this album? This mystery album?
This mystery album is called The Tumbleweed Connection, and it's by Elton John.
When did it come out?
It came out in 1971. No, 1970. 1971 was Friends.
It was released in 71 in the U.S., it looks like.
Yeah. January 1971 in the U.S. October 1970.
So late 70, early 71, whatever.
Yeah. And it's a good album. No, there's not a single one of
it has none of Elton John's like hits.
Yeah, none of his hits are on it. It is apparently ranked number 458 on the Rolling Stones magazine of the 500 greatest albums of all time.
Nice. I think it would deserve
and
that.
It peaked at number 2 in the UK album charts and number 5 in the Billboard 200 charts.
No, it's a Elton John album unlike any other.
It's more folky.
It's got country vibes.
Yeah. Now the story I've heard is that Elton John, while he was writing the songs for this, had been listening to the band a lot.
That makes sense. And
I don't know how true that is. That's what I've heard.
For any of you uninitiated, the band is Bob Dylan's band.
Well, they were Bob Dylan's band, and then they were just
and
the
then
band.
they became the band.
Their
own band.
The late great Levon Helm, and they were a very good band. They
they're called the band for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, they're great. So this album's got kind of some Americana-esque vibes to it.
Oh, definitely. And even the cover here,
yeah,
it's the sepia picture of him like just sitting in front of a store, like a general store.
And let me grab from over here. So
yeah, Colton's got it on vinyl. There's
the vinyl cover of it. There's a cool like booklet thing inside.
Tell our listeners again.
Yeah, there's a cool like booklet thing inside, and
I always like when a vinyl comes
cool.
with like a lot of stuff, like good stuff.
But there is specifically, I just wanted to.
There's an album I've thought about talking
point
about.
out there's a giant Gun.
Ballad of the Well-Known Gun,
Yeah.
which that's honestly might be my favorite song.
That's a really
Off
good
of this
song.
album.
Yeah, that one.
Where is it? Love Song's also really good.
Yeah.
But you're more familiar with this album. So tell us, why did you choose this album for this?
Because I have it on vinyl. I've been listening to it a lot, and I was like, this is a fucking rad album. And,
That's a good reason.
When you said, let's do an album review, I was like, I'm going to choose this one.
See, for me, there's a lot of albums I could have
Yeah.
picked for today. One of the albums I picked for today, I do have on vinyl. And, oh, man, I love listening to it. And and I have a good story about it, about
Nice.
that vinyl, that particular vinyl.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna have one of these sugar cookie here.
Yeah, one of the cocaine cookies.
Yeah, you guys all know those sugar cookies you get at the department stores,
And they're
with
just
the frosting.
They're just like the fall apart, like powdery, soft. Yeah, we have a.
And you feel horrible eating it,
Yeah.
just like when you do cocaine.
I've eaten this. That whole box was just all me. Last week, I ate all those. This album is really good. Ballad of Well-Known Gun, you mentioned, but I like song number 5, My Father's Gun.
My Father's Gun.
That was a good one, and also Amarina is really good.
Yeah, I kind of turn my brain off when I listen to it, because I listen to it like at work or when I'm studying, so I'm not paying attention.
Yeah.
To the tracks.
Yeah, no, I mean this is one of those albums that I discovered through. If you notice on my copy of the vinyl here, there is a sticker that says it was $1.99.
Oh wow!
There's a record store
What a discount!
I used to go to that would have a used record bin. It was a big enough record store, Rhino Records in Claremont, California.
Oh,
A big enough record store that they, unless it was like a really valuable record, when they got their hands on used records, they just sold them for dirt cheap.
mm-hmm.
Because they made enough sales with other stuff, they didn't have to make up sales with selling used records.
Yeah, one of the records I have.
So
there's that situation.
I would go through that record bin and always pick out a couple records there for a couple dollars a piece. And this was one of them. And I didn't know the album, but I saw Elton John. And I was like, $1.99 for Elton John vinyl. It was in good condition. I was like, fuck it.
I mean, besides just talking about the album itself, and we'll get more into it. You will.
Yeah.
But Elton John is like one of the best
He's one of the greats
performers of all time.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Like that's where I kind of lie.
Yeah.
But you introduced me to this, and I was like, damn, I never heard this side of Elton John. This
Yeah.
folk, like more down to earth.
He's not all like pop rock,
and
like
it's not all like the
glam
piano,
stuff.
like there's a lot of guitar centric tracks.
Oh
And
yeah, there's some
Elton
funky
John,
stuff in this album.
He had his buddy was a big song, like wrote a lot of his songs. I forget his name. I'm gonna get it.
Oh yeah.
I saw the biopic with Tegger Egerton,
Yeah. So
British guy from the Kingsmen.
yeah,
is Elton John.
You got his last name right. I'm not remembering his first name.
But it was a good biopic. It was honestly probably better than Bohemian Rhapsody, and I got things.
I've
to say
heard that.
about
I haven't seen it yet.
So his main songwriter,
Taron Egerton.
Egerton, not Tegger.
I was like thinking about it. I'm like, you're really close, but I don't know.
So he's
what it
still
is.
alive. His main songwriter and like one of his best friends, Bernie Taupin.
Yeah.
And he wrote most of Elton John's songs.
Yeah.
But that's not discrediting Elton John, but I'm just giving credit to the songwriter. But Elton John, just the way he performed and on the piano is just amazing. And, you know, one of my friends actually got to see him tour recently.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
Crazy. Like,
Yeah, he's doing his final tour right now
supposedly.
before he retires. Apparently his final show will be at Dodger Stadium in November.
Nice.
one
Well, yeah,
of-
because
one of my
he got
professors-
huge in L.A.
Yeah.
That's like where he got big. Like
One of
playing
my-
the
one of my
El Moro.
Oh, yeah.
El
yeah.
Toro, I mean.
Yeah, one of my professors just went to go see him live.
Nice.
Said he was really good. So he plays Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, final song. So
Oh,
except
nice.
for the encore.
That's a good.
It's good, like, send-off song.
But tell us more about this album. I mean, anything we should know about it?
I mean that's.
Okay, what's some notable songs on there? Because you're more familiar with.
Well,
it.
like I said, My Father's Gun, I think, is like a really good like ballad that like I mean, and Amarina. Those are my two favorite songs in it. But like you mentioned, Ballad of a Well-Known Gun. That song like it sets a good stage,
a good opener for the whole
album because
tone
it starts
of the
with like it doesn't start with like piano like you
No,
would
it's like
expect.
guitar,
It's
like
like
acoustic kind of
like it's kind of this very 70s like country rock guitar.
70s country rock. Yeah,
like
that's,
almost like something you would hear out of like one of Neil Young's like more rock.
This is early 70s.
Yeah.
And it says it's his third studio album.
Yeah, I think so.
So before this, we had let's see. So Empty Sky, Elton John, self-titled,
self-titles before this,
and then Tumbleweed Connection.
Yeah. So and then after this was Friends.
And then Goodbye Yellow Brick Road would come in 73.
Yeah.
And
years later.
That's the one I'm most familiar with.
A lot of people are more familiar with that. Very good album. I mean, all of Elton John's stuff is really good.
But I really admire that you picked a lesser known but still like sleeper hit of Elton John.
Yeah, I mean, I think this album came out before he got like really, really big. I mean, he had made it by this point. He had a couple albums out that were popular, but like he did like I said, there were no hits on this album. A lot of the stuff that people really know from Elton John is slightly later.
Mid 70s, 80s.
Yeah. And again, it's a really groovy album. That's like it's kind of got some folk vibes. It's still Elton John.
No, it's still,
but it's. I mean, if you've listened to the band, like their stuff, it's very folky, but they have like funky stuff.
Good
in
groove
there too.
Yeah,
and like it comes to mind like about a well-known gun. That groove it has reminds me of the type of groove like in Down on Cripple Creek, like that song from the band. It's kind of that same type of groove, and it's good. And I wanted to talk about it because I've been listening to it a lot, and it's not talked about enough. I think
it isn't. Yeah,
so I don't have much else to say about it at the moment, but it's good shit.
What's the first song you would recommend to our listeners?
Amarina. That's that was the only song that before I listened to this album that I had actually heard prior. That's a good one.
Clocking in at 5 minutes.
Yeah, long song.
Just looking at your
I have the screen
here,
up here.
your Wikipedia.
There's no song on this album that's under 3 minutes long, and most of them are over 4 minutes.
And see, usually,
like
the album, it doesn't overstay its welcome. 46 minutes, like
there's 10 songs in the album. It's a 46, almost 47-minute album. Most of the songs are 4 to 5 minutes long. One of them is 6 minutes. My Father's Gun is 6 minutes 20 seconds. It's a long song.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I didn't realize how long these songs were.
So the next album we have on our list, this is one I picked out. You've heard it before, and this is one I actually slept on. In fact, I slept on this band until recently. I mean, I've heard a couple of their songs, and I'm like, yeah, that's good, but it's kind of like pop and mainstream. You hear it all the time.
Yeah.
And there's a particular song I'm talking about there. Actually, I think you would know.
I know, yeah.
But ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, Jeff Lynne. I've always appreciated him, like as a musician. Like every time I've seen him play live on a TV special, like I'm like, yeah.
Before we were recording, you were like asking me, like, is it Jeff Lynne or Jeff?
I'm pretty sure it was Jeff Lynne, but I just wanted to be sure.
Jeff Lynne, I said it was Jeff Lynne, and I mentioned I know it from. I actually know his name from
Traveling Wilburys.
Traveling Wilburys, not from ELO really, because I had not listened to a lot of ELO.
And that's his band with George Harrison, Bob Dylan, Tom Petty.
Yeah, and Roy Orbison.
Yeah.
Good band. But so this album here.
So yeah, I picked out Out of the Blue, and there's a reason I picked this one. There's a lot of older albums I could have picked that I wanted to pick, actually. Well, not over this, but I mean, there's a lot of albums that have been on my mind for the next time we do an album review.
Yeah.
But this one, I kind of had like an aha, like light bulb turn on moment when I listened to it. I was like, holy shit, how have I never listened to this album in its entirety before? I've heard really, I've only heard one of the songs before I listened to this album. You know which one it is.
Yeah, Mr. Blue Sky.
Yeah, Mr. Blue Sky. That's in
Classic,
Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's in everything.
It's a long album, too.
And it's a good song. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad song or anything, but it is, the mainstream one that's played from this.
There's
some
out of the blue,
just
really good ones.
The whole album.
Sweet Talking Women.
Oh, God,
is
man.
A banger.
But I have a story about this album. So one of our longtime listeners, actually, friend of my dad, he works with him, Jason Halfcoat, as we call him, Captain Halfcoat. Yeah. And I hope you're listening, and I hope you like that nickname. I mean, it basically makes you a pirate,
Yeah,
so.
pretty much.
But he actually...
For legal reasons.
For legal reasons.
Not a pirate, but...
Not a pirate, but sounds like one. Talk like a pirate.
A buccaneer.
A buccaneer, yeah. But anyways, yeah, our buddy Halfcoat, he actually sent... Through my dad, he sent it to my dad to send to me. He sent me this album. He bought it used at a record store back in my hometown. And he bought it for I can't remember the price tag, but cheap. Yeah. Especially for this album.
It's always great when you can find albums real cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, ELO, Electric Light Orchestra? Hell yeah. I love Jeff Lynne. Everything he's in, and his inspiration from the Beatles and everything, and... Mm-hmm. And with the Traveling Wilburys, I've always cool listened to them. He's got cool hair. And they kind of helped pioneer this whole one of the albums we talked about a while ago in our first album reviews, I believe, Weezer.
Yeah.
Okay, Human. The whole orchestral album. Well, I don't think that would exist without this, Electric Light Orchestra.
Yeah,
because they always include an actual orchestra with their albums.
Big sound.
It's a huge sound. This whole orchestra and everything. And the conductor, I'm going to give credit to the conductor, that's for sure. So, Lewis Clark. Not Lewis and Clark, just Lewis Clark.
Yeah.
But, and apparently, I couldn't find, the exact quote. But Jeff Lynne, and this album came out in 1977, the time of Star Wars, late 70s,
Yeah.
But it's my first 70s album I've talked about on this show. But there's plenty of others I could talk about. In fact, one I've been listening to, oh my God, I could talk about that one. But I won't spoil it. But apparently, he was trying to come up with songs and everything. And he dreamed. A lot of these songs, apparently,
really?
From what I've heard. Wow. And, the whole narrative and everything. And I love the album cover, the space shuttle going into the UFO, the rainbow colored, it's, cool, psychedelic, futuristic. But this album, I'll tell you, let me preface, I've always been a fan of Pink Floyd. Who isn't, really?
Yeah,
I mean, I've always liked Pink Floyd. ELO is a band I just kind of slept on. I don't really know why. It's not because I didn't like Jeff Lynne or anything. It's just because I never had anyone listening to ELO around me. And every time I heard ELO, it was either on Austin Powers or Guardians of the Galaxy.
They're just one of those bands that were...
Because Evil Woman, that's Austin Powers.
Yeah. I mean, they're just one of those bands.
So every song I've heard from them has been it's just a pop of the time.
They're one of those bands that were really good, but they just weren't the biggest band.
Yeah, they're kind of slept on a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, and there's certain bands like that. Recently, I got into 10 Years After.
Yeah, they're a punk band.
They're a British Invasion band from the 60s.
Oh, I'm thinking of Stiff Little Fingers
now. No, yeah.
I'm mixing up your bands.
No, 10 Years After, British Invasion band from the 60s. Alvin Lee, the guitarist and singer.
Oh, okay.
So I've gotten to them recently, or from the last album review the album that you brought forward. I'm blanking.
The latest album review?
Yeah.
I talked about
I'm forgetting that.
freaking what? What did I talk about? Let me look at our Instagram, which you should follow, by the way, to find out what I talked about.
But either way, I think ELO just kind of sat into that category of like there's these
At Odd Drunk
bands.
Pod.
Yes. These bands that are just like there's a lot of bands that are really
The
good.
Cult?
Yeah, the Cult. I just like they're not like that old, but like I had never really
They're pretty old. I mean,
I had never gotten into them.
Yeah,
until like,
they've been slept on.
They were just slept on, and ELO is kind of in that category.
Not as much as the Cult for sure. Like ELO is way bigger than the Cult.
The Guardians of the Galaxy, and
well, yeah, they're in movies. I mean, seriously, like they're not. I would say they're slept on, not popular wise, but just like respect wise, music wise.
Yeah.
But out of the blue, like holy shit, like my dad was like, "Oh, you'll love Turn to Stone and everything," and I love Turn to Stone. It's a good one. Yeah. It's over. I mean, this is an album, and kind of what sparked inspiration to do album reviews on this show is whenever you find an album, and there's albums we talked about on the show that fit this niche, but like when you find an album that's like, this is complete front to back. You just listen to the whole thing. You're like,
this is a solid.
You don't go in to listen to a particular song or single.
Like
you listen to the whole album.
Yeah,
like,
and like we try to include new albums on here, and that's just our attempt to
stay relevant.
Yeah, but like when we say,
and one of them, I legitimately think is like a really good album. But we'll get to that.
But when we talk about these older albums, it's typically albums that we think deserve attention because they haven't gotten it, or maybe they've gotten attention, but we just think they need more attention because they're just such a complete album.
This one's one of those. It needs more attention. But for me, Jason Halfcoat, our buddy, sent it to me. He sent it to me. I mean, and I want to just talk about it because one of our listeners sent us an album. But I legitimately fell in love with it. Like I've never listened to ELO besides hearing their songs in movies.
Yeah.
Like I'm serious. Like I'm being straightforward with you guys. Like this is my first time just sitting down listening to an ELO album. And like I said before, I've always liked Pink Floyd, but they always, especially because Roger Waters, and Roger Waters is amazing, and I do think that he's necessary to component of Pink Floyd. You can't just have Pink Floyd without him.
Oh yeah,
but that's a whole discussion. But I love David Gilmour. Yeah, he's a great guitarist.
Pink Floyd's new song?
I love his vocals. I haven't listened to the new song.
I haven't either.
But
I was hoping you had.
But Pink Floyd, the whole time I was listening to this album, it's like this is Pink Floyd, but happy.
Yeah, yeah.
And
it's
just
what I appreciate about it is it's also the melodies, like the basic melodies, are simple enough to be catchy, but the actual instrumentation, because it's electric light orchestra, are very complex and well thought out.
Yeah,
and it's you can listen to one of these songs.
So let's talk about
and actually pay attention to what they're.
Let's talk about these tracks here.
Yeah.
So you have Turnstone, great opener, and if you've never listened to ELO before, it will tell you what ELO is all about musically.
Oh, yeah. Good representation.
The orchestra and everything.
Honestly, I think Mr. Blue Sky is not. I think it's not a good representation of the rest of the album.
It isn't. I think
it's a great song.
It's a good song, but it's not the best song.
But if you've only watched Guardians of the Galaxy and that's the only song you know, and you saw that this is the album it's on, so you were going into this album expecting that.
No,
you're going to be surprised.
Every song has a different kind of vibe to it. That's what I really appreciate. Turn to Stone, It's Over. I really adore that one. Sweet Talking Woman has a really fun vibe.
That's a banger. I really like that one.
Across the Border. Night in the City is actually one of the sleepers, I think. It's a really good one.
I like Believe Me Now. That instrumental
Starlight
one
has this really cool, it has cool synth going on.
Yeah.
Standing in the Rain. The second half of this album gets really big and epic, with Standing in the Rain.
Yeah.
Summer and Lightning. Really Summer and Lightning. Mr. Blue Sky, obviously. I mean,
still a great song.
Still a great song,
even though it's maybe overplayed nowadays.
But this whole album, even if you can't remember the name of a song per se, this album, it's one you listen to the whole album. Like, I can't.
Well, like, here's a really cool thing. Like, side 3 here, I'm looking on Wikipedia here, and it's side 3.
Well, yeah, it's a 4-side album.
It's a 4-side album, yeah. So, and side 3 is specifically labeled Concerto for a Rainy Day. Did you notice that? About the entire, those 4 songs follow a story of a rainy day, and then concluding with Mr. Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. That's
a good story to it.
Like you mentioned earlier with Weezer. That's what Weezer reminds me of, like Rivers trying to do that type of stuff.
Well, and just a quick shout out to Weezer, and I probably will include them on an album review coming up.
Yeah.
At least when they have a couple. Well, Weezer, okay, Rivers Cuomo, I honestly think he's mental. Like, how does he do this? I don't know. But he's got 3 more albums coming out this year. Well, EPs. The first one came out, so the spring EP. I don't know if you've listened to it.
I haven't. I
definitely recommend it. It's just a really fun, happy vibe. It's like the perfect spring album. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, it's got good acoustic stuff, like mandolins in it. It's just a happy, positive. It's a positive album. It's uplifting.
Yeah.
And I thought about just talking about the Weezer EP, but I was like, it's an EP, not an album. Technically, we've already talked about Weezer before.
I mean, we could do an episode.
But I will say,
all EPs.
I will say though,
but
if the summer EP comes out and it's as good as the spring one, I will talk about both of them as if they were one album. You know what I mean? Like, I'll include them as one album.
Yeah. Yeah, we probably should. Yeah. Just
if it is as good as the spring one. We don't just pick stuff out just to make fun of. We usually pick stuff out that we like.
Yeah.
We even with our movies, with some exceptions, Hellboy, for instance, Cats, for instance, we usually pick out stuff we like talking about. But yeah, ELO, Out of the Blue, like, if you haven't heard it before, listen to that album. Like, holy crap. Like, it's an amazing album, front to back. Like, hour and 10 minutes, you don't even really notice. Like, I mean, it's like...
It does run fast. Like, I was looking at
It's one of those albums that...
And I was looking... I mean, I'm looking at this track list, and I'm seeing Mr. Blue Sky is the 4th song, is the end of side 3. And when
it's a B-side, technically.
When I was it's a C-side.
A C-side, yeah.
And when I was listening to the album, I felt like it came way faster than that.
Yeah, and it just gives you such a fun vibe. And I remember when I first put it on vinyl, when I got the vinyl in, thanks, Captain Halfcoat. But when I got the vinyl in, and I can't say it's like one of the original pressings, but it's definitely an old vinyl. I know it's like from the 70s.
I mean,
I've looked at the serial numbers and everything.
Sometimes it
cool. It is an old one.
Even if it's not like the valuable album, it's cool to have old ones.
Old one, yeah.
One of these days.
But like, it's in perfect condition, dude. Like, whoever had this before and like sold it to the record store or gave it to them really took care of it.
One of these days, let's do an episode talking about our vinyl collections.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Also, we did not plan this, but the 2 old albums we both chose for this episode are ones we happen to actually have.
We both have them.
Yeah.
They're both from the 70s. There's another 70s album I thought about talking about.
We don't collaborate on these album episodes.
I'm like, hey, here's the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, here's the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah, we just tell each other which ones we've been listening to.
No, it is. I will say, like, I'm not going to be pretentious and be like, oh, you got to have the vinyl to really experience the album. I mean, but it is
it's cool. I mean,
there is something. It's tangible. There's something nice about having a tangible album you have to put on, and you have to flip it when it's time, unless you have one of those fancy
and you can
record
have one
players.
Of these cool covers that has all the
And, like,
lyrics inside.
They come with the lyrics. They come with a poster
Look
or a
at
little
this cool ass photo of Elton John on a train.
Yeah, look at that.
That's cool. That's
But
Bernie Taupin there.
Yeah. But they come with stuff, and like, it's tangible. And
I've bought new records from new artists where you open it up and there's stickers inside.
Oh yeah, that's always fun
because they
new ones too. Yeah,
they give you stuff. They're like,
you get tangible
it's
things.
Fun.
And
records are fun.
With vinyls, I mean, there's something about like just putting the record on, and you have to listen to the whole side.
Yeah.
like skipping is really not a thing you do. I mean, you can because you can look at the lines and like where the song ends, but like
it's kind of a hassle.
Inconvenient. It's a hassle.
I almost never skip songs.
I never skip songs on vinyls. Like on vinyl, I pick the side. Now sometimes I'll skip a side.
I've done that. Yeah.
I'll go to a side that I want to listen to, but like I'll tell you, like on this album, like on albums like these, like Out of the Blue, like I do start to finish.
Yeah.
Like now, I won't necessarily have time to just spend my time listening to the album, but to have it on in the background while I'm doing homework or while I'm doing work or jogging, whatever, you know, I mean, taking a shower. But man, like every song, just the way it flows into each other and like it tells this big grand story.
Yeah.
And
no, it's really,
it's one of those,
it's a solid album.
It's a monumental album.
And that's a cool one to have on vinyl. It's super cool. I liked it. I had not listened to this one specifically before.
It's the only ELO album I've listened to.
I've listened to like best of ELO and stuff like that. So I had an idea of what ELO was other than Mr. Blue Sky. And
Evil Woman.
An Evil Woman, yeah. But
no.
But I hadn't listened to this album, and I'll say this album, I mean, I will always say it's not wrong to listen to a best of album. But if you really like an artist, you should listen to one of their proper albums because there's more that goes into most albums. Not all albums, but most albums. There's more that goes into it than just a bunch of good songs.
Well,
it's also how it flows and
how
the
it
theme
flows,
of the album,
how the
and
album
sort of stuff.
Here's a good example for you, Colton, and the listeners. It's like I have, everyone's got their favorite Beatles songs.
Yeah.
And not all of my favorite Beatles songs are on my favorite Beatles album.
Yeah.
In fact, Abbey Road, I think, might be the best, but personally, my favorite is Rubber Soul. Mm-hmm. That doesn't have any of the big, huge hits.
It's a pretty good one.
I just like it as an album, how it connects to me, how it flows. And then I know a lot of people, and this is just to get some of the Beatles talk away, and I will say we're not going to cover bands like that big. And if we do, it's going to be a sleeper hit album.
Yeah, or we'll have a very good reason for it.
A good reason. But, with the Beatles, probably never cover it because, everyone, come on. The Beatles, they're good.
You've all
really
heard
good.
enough about the Beatles.
Yeah, you've heard enough about them.
You've all been watching that documentary on Disney Plus.
It's good.
No one will shut up about.
It is good, Colton.
It is, yeah. I know it's good.
Cool seeing how they come up with everything.
No one will shut up about it, though.
Yeah, they won't. They won't. Beatles fans don't shut up.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But what I'm trying to say is, there's good albums, there's good songs,
mm-hmm.
And there's good bands.
Yeah.
Bad bands can have good albums, good bands can have bad albums.
Yeah.
And with albums, I want to know, can I listen to this album as it's presented, front to back, without skipping anything?
Yeah.
Without just picking out songs. And I'm not saying I won't pick out songs, but it's the fact that I can listen to the whole thing and enjoy it.
And that's the thing with greatest hits albums, for example.
And greatest hits, that's great. I mean,
sometimes those greatest hits albums,
you get the songs you want.
I skip shit because I'm
oh.
Sometimes the greatest hits, I'm like, well,
you skip on the greatest hits.
Sometimes I do because sometimes there's a band where I'm like, for example. I mean, and this is why I say, if someone were to ask you what your favorite album is, it is not acceptable to say a greatest hits album.
I'm talking to you, Mom.
For example, I have a Queen greatest hits album.
They have really bad, inconsistent pressings on that one.
Yeah, and I have a Queen greatest hits album.
If you have the vinyl.
Car. It's in my car.
You have the CD. Okay.
It's just a CD.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I listen to CDs in my car and also cassettes. But not because
that's real old school.
Well, it's not because I think they're cool. It's because I'm broke and they're cheap at the thrift store.
True.
And when I find an Eric Clapton greatest hits cassette at the thrift store for 50 cents, I'm gonna buy it.
I'm guilty. I use Spotify.
My car just doesn't do well with
Bluetooth stuff.
Bluetooth or aux cable.
Adapters.
Yeah, it just doesn't do well with that.
Oh, it's just not good quality.
Yeah, it just doesn't do well with that. So I rely on CDs, radio, and cassettes.
Nice.
But I have a Queen greatest hits album, and it's mostly good. But there's a couple songs that I dislike. One of them,
what's that?
Body Language is a weird ass song. I don't know why it's on the greatest hits.
That's weird.
Because it's a weird song. And I never am in the mood to listen to it. Also, this is a hot take. I Want to Break Free has an ugly guitar solo in it, and I typically skip it.
That is a hot take.
It's a hot take.
I don't think there's any Brian May solo I dislike.
I dislike that one.
Want to Break Free.
Because it sounds like he didn't know what to do.
I think I might be thinking of a different song, though.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking of I Want It All.
No.
Is that on the album?
I don't know if it is.
Because that's like one of Freddie Mercury's last.
Yeah, no. I Want to Break Free. It's the one that starts with like the cellos in the background, kind of the same way that George Michael's Faith starts.
Oh, okay.
And it has the guitar solo that's just,
I don't think I recall that one.
It's probably one of the most played ones on the radio right nowadays.
Other than like Bohemian Rhapsody.
You've definitely heard it. You've seen the music video. It's the one where they're in drag.
Oh, okay.
I want to break free. That song?
That's one I don't listen to that much.
Yeah. The guitar solo is ugly, and it sounds like Brian May didn't know what he was doing and didn't give a shit. And I don't like it, and I skip it.
Well, the thing with Queen, my favorite Queen album isn't a studio album. It's a live performance.
Yeah, I know what the one you're talking about. Yeah, is
and I think perhaps we'll do a live albums edition.
Ooh,
because
I like this idea.
Live albums, I'm not saying they don't count as an album because it is different, it's distinct, but they're not studio albums.
Yeah,
because we're talking about studio albums here.
Yeah,
but there is definitely a lot of good live albums out there that I would like to talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyways, it's your turn again.
Yeah, and
so we're going into the new album.
It's very convenient that it just happens to be we go back and forth like this. We didn't.
It always happens that way.
We did not plan it that way.
I remember one time we had a band. I think it was the Chats and Strokes, maybe, that had an album that came out the same year, but the Chats came out like a month before the Strokes one.
Yeah.
And by the way, the Chats have a new single. I don't know if you heard
I haven't heard it yet.
It's like Struck by Lightning or something.
Oh, sick. I'll have to check that out.
Pretty good.
And also...
they have a new guitarist, I think.
Yeah, the old guy left right after the last album.
Like after they kind of got big.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So...
but speaking of punk...
Yeah, speaking of punk, so this album came out in 2021. I don't know what month because it doesn't say on the Wikipedia.
I have the month. Colton.
You have the month.
Came out March 12th, 2021.
Awesome.
And you can tell them.
Hestia by the Rumjacks.
Yeah.
Now, the Rumjacks is a band I've listened to for a while.
No, I know. Yeah, long ass time.
And they were never like my favorite, but they were pretty decent. And they had some good songs. But their old singer.
You best describe them as a Celtic punk.
Yeah. Irish punk. They're
Irish punk.
They're Australian, actually.
Yeah, that's the funny part. But they
play
Irish.
They they don't sound Australian at all.
No, they don't.
Except for some occasional references to Australian things in the lyrics. But you wouldn't guess they're
like
Australian.
Mr. Sunday Movies.
If they referenced Mr. Sunday Movies in a song.
That'd be great. Or Nick Mason.
You know, the things that Australians are into, like Mr. Sunday Movies. I don't know what Australian. I don't know I know very little about. I actually know very little about Australia.
I know we're a little tiny podcast, but we do recommend the Weekly Planet podcast if you want something that's good.
Yeah, if you've somehow listened to us and not heard of them.
Yeah.
Go check them out. They're very good.
They cover movies and comics and whatever.
But their old singer, he had more like a stereotypical like Irish, like Scots Irish like way of singing. And he was fun, but he was very violent, apparently. And
I heard there was domestic abuse involved.
Yeah, and not just like accusations, but he served time in prison for it.
Yeah.
And he has a history of that.
That's no good. What a bloke.
Yeah, and so they finally got sick of it, the band, it sounds like, and they kicked him. And they got a new singer and songwriter. Who I should pull up his name.
You should. I mean, that's a good idea.
That would be.
But I'll tell you, before you get his name, I I've listened to the Rumjacks before, but this is the first Rumjacks album I've listened to.
Yeah, I mean they have other albums that are good. I recommend Saints Preserve Us and Gangs of New Holland. Those are both really good albums from their old singer.
But you had to pick a new one.
But well, this is the one
with the new singer.
Like not even a week before you texted me saying let's do another album review.
He started.
I gave this album a shot and had been super into it for that week.
Nice.
So it was just good.
Yeah,
timing.
Hestia. I will say, it's a fun freaking album.
Yeah,
like
Mike Rivkes is the new singer. He's very good. He's not as Irish sounding. He's got more of a pop punk.
I kind of appreciate that though,
but it's fun.
I think it melds well.
Yeah,
with the music.
I agree.
Especially one that's not actually Irish, doing an Irish voice.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if the other guy, if that was his actual accent or not. They're Australian, but I don't know.
Could be Australian Irish or whatever.
Or something. I don't know much about him other than.
But I will say, I had a real fun listening to this album, just doing work and everything. And for me, the standout song, and we talked about this a little. Oh, they have a song called Lizzie Borden. We talked about her before in our haunted episode or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think I might have been factually incorrect about her, but that's okay. That was a long time ago. Don't listen to it, but you can listen to it. I don't care. It was in our Spooktober.
Listen to different episodes.
Yeah, listen to anything.
Yeah,
but that no, but for me, man, Through These Iron Sights is a banger. Like it's a total banger.
That one.
Well, I've been honestly maybe next time I will do some metal albums.
Yeah.
I've been itching at it, but I was like, that's a little too obvious for me.
Yeah.
Especially for Colton.
I mean,
he knows me.
I mean, I picked an Irish album this time. That seems pretty obvious for me. I think it's fair if you did a metal
next
one
time.
Yeah.
But Through These Iron Sights has this like metal breakdown in it, like this cool ass guitar breakdown. That came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's just a really fun album
cool.
to listen to.
Naysayers, the first song, has this Irish opening, and that's actually a traditional Scottish song called the not the Keshtrig, the Tam Lin, the Glasgow Reel, which is a song I had kind of put off on listening to this album because they got a new singer, and I had heard like a snippet of one of their songs and just wasn't digging it, so I just didn't listen to the album for a while. And I finally put it on, and the first song, I know how to play that song like myself, so I immediately was like, "Oh, I know that song. This is cool."
Also, just a little historical reference here. Hestia, the name of the album, is the Greek goddess of hearth, daughter of Cronus and Rhea, and one of the 12 Olympian deities.
Very cool.
This is from Britannica.com, by the way, because, we cite our sources here. But when the gods Apollo and Poseidon became suitors for her hand, she swore to remain a maiden forever, whereupon Zeus, the king of the gods, bestowed upon her the honor of proceeding over all sacrifices.
Wow. That's pretty cool. They also released a new EP, and EP is like an understatement. It's almost a whole LP. Like this January, called Black and Gold.
Oh, yeah.
And they've already since then released another single.
Nice.
They've been on a roll.
Nice.
With releasing stuff. Anyway, I mean, my favorite songs, Rhythm of Her Name, is a really good one.
Oh, yeah.
It's a softer song, acoustic. And I also like Athens to the North.
Athens to the North, yeah. That's this whole epic.
That's
vibe.
A banger. That's a drinking song there.
Yeah, definitely. And this album also clocks in around 47 minutes.
Yeah.
For me, with album lengths, it really depends. Like, honestly, if you're gonna have an album, let's say you have an hour and 20-minute album. Okay, Pink Floyd, ELO, hello. It better all like connect and like be a good ass album throughout. Now, yeah, not all songs are gonna be as good as the other, or not all songs are gonna be bangers per se, but they better flow well and make a good album.
There's a couple albums I can think of that like I really love, and I love their songwriting. but their albums are typically really short. And just knowing their songwriting style, I question if they could hold together an hour-long album.
True.
Billy Bragg is one of those. I'm a huge fan of Billy Bragg, especially his early stuff when he just like played electric guitar by himself, like an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
Like, really cool stuff. But his albums then were like 30 minutes long.
Yeah, for
And
me,
I question if an album of that style could hold together if it were an hour long.
true. No, there's certain styles that need to be shorter, right?
Yeah.
But
So,
for me,
like,
my
respect
optimal
to someone like ELO who can hold together
for
an
hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
My optimal album length, though, like just in general, on average, about 45 minutes. 45. Any more than that, you better be like a good conceptual like prog band or something, or you better just like have your shit together.
Generally, unless with some exceptions.
But if it's like 30 minutes or less, unless it's a punk album or something, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's a waste of my money.
Generally, if it can fit on one vinyl disc.
2 sides.
Yeah, 2 sides.
At least.
Full. 2 sides full. That's perfect. I mean, and there are some bands that I love and albums I really like, but they don't hold together.
Like,
so like there's we've talked about Wilco before, not on these album reviews, I think. But they have an album called The Whole Love.
We talked about the band that came before Wilco.
Yeah, Uncle Tupelo, yeah.
Uncle Tupelo, yeah.
But Wilco's album, The Whole Love, which is overall a really good album, but it's a 4-side album. And I don't think it
a lot of fluff
should
in
have been a
lot of fluff.
Well, like the first song is
like-
like a 7-minute song, and it's a lot of white noise and experimental shit.
Oh,
And it's like,
but like whenever we come up with an album, which is my goal for this summer, by the way, I'm just gonna tell you that now.
yeah,
I want it to be just a nice, concise, like about 40 minutes or so,
oh yeah, doesn't need to
or
be,
less even, as long as all the songs I like.
If
like
it's
tight and like
and
I
works
enjoy
and
all the
flows
songs
and it's
yeah.
good, it doesn't need to be long.
No, yeah. However, there is a good bang for your buck when you at least get like a 45, 50-minute album.
Yeah,
But if it's a bunch of fluff, you're not really getting bang for your buck.
yeah,
And this album is a perfect example of an album that like every song is just fun. It's just
I mean, if you know who the Rumjacks are, you'll know what you're getting into. This is not like groundbreaking shit. It's fun Irish punk rock out of Australia.
I didn't even know they were out of Australia before you told me.
You wouldn't by listening to them.
No, you wouldn't. No.
Well, except for some lyrical references. So, and I don't think I notice anything in
this album.
But like in their old albums, they referenced stuff that was Australian. So there's like one song they have where it's from one of their very early EPs. And there's a lyric where the guy goes, I'm Scottish born and Australian bred. I'm strong in the arm and soft in the head. Like, I mean, they reference it sometimes, but like they don't sound like. I mean, and of course that's a common thing. Like, people don't often sing in their accents. AC/DC is Australian, but you wouldn't know it from listening to them.
No,
like. And they're probably
sings that really high
the most well-known
That
Australian
screaming
band of all
sing.
time.
AC/DC? Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like,
Yeah.
um,
Speaking of Australian bands, I got to see Wolf Mother in concert. They're from Australia. That was awesome.
dude, that would be super cool.
Yeah, they were cool. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good. Anyway, so anything you want to say more about the Rumjacks, Hestia?
No, it's just.
What's the song? What's
Good
the
fun.
song that you recommend?
Athens to the North?
Athens. Yeah, that's
Go
a
listen
good
to
one.
that one.
That's
That's
an
a-
epic one.
It's epic.
Yeah.
A lot of other good ones. Through these
I
iron sights. Like
I
you
like
said,
Through
though.
the Iron Sights for the
That's got
guitar
some
breakdown.
Cool breakdown.
Because I'm
yeah.
a guitar guy,
Yeah.
so
If you like guitar shit, listen to that. Through the Iron
yeah,
Sights.
it's,
If
that
you like,
surprised me.
if you
It
like
surprised
cool
me.
drinking anthems, listen to Athens to the North.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. So
Which one is next?
So before we recorded this episode, I already had a new album in mind. It's going to be the one we talk about here in a second. But then I discovered, oh shit, someone else just released an album all of a sudden as soon as I was talking about it. And I was like, man, I'm going to give this album a listen through. and if it's worth anything, I will talk about it.
Like literally,
if it sucks,
like literally the day you were texting me
and I was like,
about
oh
this
fuck,
episode,
I was like, damn,
this
like,
album release.
Yeah, and my thing is like, I listened to it and I was like, hey, if I don't really like it, I'm not even gonna mention it on episode because I don't talk about things that I just don't like because that's no fun and that's mean.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna make fun of any musician's album on air, at least. But
we won't try.
But when we pick an album, we at least like aspects of it, parts of it, or it, as a whole.
Or if we criticize it, it's not because we didn't pick it to criticize.
No, we picked it because we thought
an album we thought would be worth talking about.
Well, anyways, we try to do brand new albums on here, and anyways, April 1st. The Red Hot Chili Peppers came out with a new album.
Yeah.
Unlimited Love.
I was kind of excited.
Nice neon sign design there.
Cool album cover.
A cool album cover.
I was kind of excited about this because I generally like the Chili Peppers.
It's the first time John Frusciante's been back since 2009. Yeah. He replaced John. It's another John, actually. I forget his name, but the guitarist that actually replaced him was his like guitar tech, which is kind of cool. Huh. He replaced not John, but Josh Klinghoffer. He replaced him.
Yeah.
And you know what? I mean, like
he was good.
I didn't have any problems with him as a musician, but he wasn't John Frusciante. He didn't have that artistic like.
Yeah, John Frusciante's got a special something.
Special sauce.
Yeah.
Like
he's got that in and out secret sauce.
But
like equivalent.
So Red Hot Chili Peppers is a band that I've always kind of had a weird relationship with. I love Mother's Milk and everything. Like that's great. Danny California. Mm-hmm. And then for me, what I actually grew up with though was Stadium Arcadium.
Dude, Stadium Arcadium is.
That's a huge album.
Say what you will about like individual songs on it. When we're talking about albums that are well put together,
and it's huge. It's like an hour and 20 minutes.
It is. This is an album that holds itself together for that entire time. It's and that very well done.
That was the last Chili Peppers album I actually cared about.
I liked I'm With You. That was good.
Which one's that?
It's the one that was right after Chili.
The first one with Josh.
Yeah, and I thought that was a good album. It was a chill album.
Yeah.
It was super chill, and it was pretty cool.
I'm going to tell you the truth. Yeah. I haven't cared about the Red Hot Chili Peppers since Stadium Arcadium.
Yeah, The Getaway I didn't love.
I've heard some of their...
I also had no real issues with it.
I've heard some singles from them, from The Getaway and from the one you talked about. But
The Getaway was fine.
This album, I knew John Frusciante was back. I remember hearing about that. John Frusciante's back in Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Big news, yeah.
And yeah, he's not their original guitarist, but he's like the guitarist for them.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
they just vibe so well with Frusciante, and I've always liked his style. He's always been like kind of a guitar hero of mine.
Yeah,
and when this album came out. When the first single came out, I slept on it. I didn't even listen to it. I was like, I don't really care about the Chili Peppers right now.
I kind of forgot about it for a while.
And
until,
I kind of forgot about it.
Right before it came out. I heard about it again.
I was browsing through YouTube, and I saw them perform on Jimmy Kimmel. And it was when Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel actually switched hosting positions for April Fools.
Yeah.
And it is funny that it came out on April Fools. But not saying that this album's bad, but like okay, so
ultimately I think it was kind of appropriate.
Let's talk about it. So this album, first album since 2009 with John Frusciante. It's such a nice welcome to have him there. Like his guitar riffing, his songwriting included in there. And this album, here's my thing. There he is, Anthony Kiedis.
The man himself.
But this album clocks in at about an hour and 13 minutes long.
Yeah.
Too long.
Yeah, it's a little long.
This album has a little bit of fluff in there, and that's what really hurts it. Like, if they cut it down to about 45 minutes, 40 minutes, like, I'd be like, hell yeah. Like, if they cut down the songs that I was like, man, this isn't really anything. This album has... in my opinion, good bangers on it, good songs on it. But it's it's hurt by the fluff. And yeah, it's generally getting good reviews, but there's things about this album I'm like, man, if they would have just left this out and would have just like went into the 10 or 12 like best songs instead of 17. It's 17 tracks. I was like, man, this would have been like a huge like banger as an album.
Yeah.
Now, there's songs I definitely go to listen to this, like that I really like, and let's kind of talk about it. So, the opening song, "Black Summer."
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that one a little bit.
Didn't like it.
You didn't like it.
No.
What's the main reason you didn't like it?
Anthony Kiedis.
That's the same thing with my dad. My dad said Anthony Kiedis sounded like a leprechaun in Black Summer.
Sorry, I just spit across.
You did, but it didn't hit me. It's good.
Okay, good.
But he said he sounded like a leprechaun. And like a silly little leprechaun, specifically. My thing with Anthony Kiedis on this song, Black Summer, he definitely has like a weird intonation. Like
He does.
kind of a slightly Irish, slightly like weird, like Celtic kind of vibe, but not committing to it. But it's just weird.
Here's the thing.
There's just a weird accent going on with this song. But my thing is, musically, I really like this song, actually.
Here's the thing. I didn't like this album. I didn't like a single song on this album.
Oh, there's a song I will convince
Every
you on.
single song, the reason I didn't like it
Anthony Kiedis.
was because of so here's
Flea, Chad Smith,
yeah,
killing it.
They always kill it. Every
John
album,
Frusciante,
they're great.
killing it.
John Frusciante brought some much needed like melodic like just
good,
cool guitar work in
Yeah.
here. The instrumental is the best they've been since Stadium Arcadium.
I wish they would release an instrumental version of this.
Dude, I would listen to that, absolutely. The thing is, I also think this is the worst vocal performance Anthony Kiedis has ever given in an album.
No,
And it distracts me. It distracted me from every
I
single
picked
song.
this album for a reason, not because I thought it was like a banger of an album, because it was new, and because it was interesting to talk about.
It's
It's the first Red Hot Chili Peppers album I've gave any attention to.
yeah.
Um,
I just think
But Anthony Kiedis,
God.
what he's doing here, it feels like he's literally just running through the motions.
yeah.
There's not much.
He didn't feel like he was grooving with it. Like I've never thought he was like. I never thought that Anthony Kiedis was a great singer, but I've always thought he grooved with the Chili Peppers very well.
That's what he's always done well. Like he's
in
not
the
been
same
a great,
way that like Bono isn't a great singer, but he works with U2. It's the same type of thing. But this album, I just did not feel like Anthony Kiedis was like grooved with it.
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
he just felt like
when I was
felt
listening
like
to
he
it,
didn't want to be there.
when I was listening to it, I was like, man, this is nice instrumentation. Like, there's some songs I want to talk about. Aquatic Mouth Dance, for instance. Great bass from Flea.
Oh,
Holy
dude,
shit.
yeah.
And Flea even plays some trumpet there.
That was Flea on the trumpet.
That was Flea. He does
Oh,
play trumpet as
fucking
well.
rad, man.
But like Aquatic Mouth Dance, for instance, good, funky, cool song, bass led.
Yeah.
Guitars like taking a back seat. But and all these songs really, Anthony Kiedis just feels like he's just kind of running through the motions. He doesn't
Yeah.
really care.
I just
Like he
and
just
the thing is, it's distracting enough in every single song. At least was for me that
it hurt the song.
it hurt the song, and which resulted in there's not a single song that I enjoyed all the
for
way
me,
through.
there's a couple songs I enjoyed.
Yeah, which ones?
Here's the song I skipped though, and I've come to appreciate a little bit more. But Poster Child, it's basically Anthony Kiedis just being nuts and being Anthony Kiedis,
Yeah,
but like without any of the kind of like drive behind it. But then when I was like, oh, this is actually something. The Great Apes.
okay,
I enjoyed that one.
yeah,
Good guitar work on it and good enough vocal work. But honestly, you're right. I mean, throughout the whole
It's
thing,
just
Anthony Kiedis is he's just reading the lines. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Like, it's
he wasn't grooving with it. He didn't have a flow. He was off rhythm at times, I thought. He was out of key at times, I thought. I stand by, I think this is the worst.
What do you think of These Are the Ways?
even like still like
That's such good instrumentation.
Yeah.
But Anthony Kiedis is just not
he
there.
just it was the worst performance from Anthony Kiedis I've ever heard. The entire album.
Damn.
Like, and I don't hate Anthony Kiedis like Caleb does.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
which
buddy
it was a
Caleb.
little disappointing for me because I mean, I haven't been into the Chili Peppers in a while, but like when I was in middle school and high school, I was really into the Chili Peppers. I really like the Chili Peppers. But yeah.
California.
Did you know that? Go watch that YouTube video.
He does have a song that mentions a lot of places in California, and it's actually one that I do like instrumentally. White Braids and Pillow Chair.
I think almost all of them are instrumentally really good.
Yeah,
that's why
seriously.
I say I have mixed feelings about it. I think this is the best instrumental work they've done in a long time. Partly because of John Frusciante being back.
The song I like the most, by far, like seriously, is The Heavy Wing. And that one features John Frusciante and vocals on the chorus, and that saves it.
Yeah, and that's saying a lot. That the one that is the best is where Anthony Kiedis doesn't do all the singing.
Yeah,
like
that song is like a huge banger, like epic, and I love it, man. Like it'll be in my 2022 playlist, The Heavy Wing. Like, damn, like John Frusciante's like really showing his stuff, like good solo work, cool guitar work.
John Frusciante
vocal work.
does shine in this. He does some great.
And I've seen people that are like, "Oh man, John Frusciante should sing more in the Chili Peppers."
Dude, I mean, yeah, and I mean, again, because I used to be a big fan of the Chili Peppers, it kind of disappoints me to say that Anthony Kiedis seems to have lost his touch in this album.
Well, I told my dad, I was like, when I saw them perform live on These Are the Ways with Jimmy Fallon, I was like, damn, like that's good. Like, I love the instrumentation and everything. Chad Smith is killing it. He's giving his all.
Dude, he always
and you know he gave. And we haven't talked about it before, but
Chad Smith is an underrated drummer.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
We haven't talked about it before, but rest in peace, Taylor Hawkins.
Yeah.
From the Foo Fighters. It's a tragedy. He was such a cool guy.
Cheers.
It seemed like.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. Rest in peace. I got to see him play live twice, and he sang Queen, and he was awesome.
He's a good singer. He was a good singer.
Yeah, great drummer, and playing for one of the greatest drummers. So that's saying a lot. And. Anyways, Chad Smith, he gave tribute to Taylor on both of his drum heads.
Wow.
He had Taylor's name.
Nice.
And they were really good friends, and Taylor was even the godfather to one of his daughters, I think, or something like that, to his kids. And, well, anyways, yeah, that was cool that he did that tribute, but, like, Chad Smith was killing it, and he was giving his all. Flea was just Flea, you know what I mean?
He's always great.
And John Frusciante just looks the same as he ever did. Wearing a long sleeve tee under a short sleeve t-shirt, you know, making him look younger.
Yeah. Tricking us.
But it's like, dude, like the whole time I was watching that performance, though, I was like, man, Anthony Kiedis, he might be into it, but like, I don't feel it.
Yeah.
Like he's
Anthony Kiedis, if you're listening,
I don't know if it's old age or like what's going on, but like
Anthony,
he's lacking that kind of.
Anthony, can I call you Anthony? If you're listening. What the fuck, dude?
Don't beat this up.
Yeah. What the fuck? Where's your passion gone?
No, like the whole time
there, we can't hear it.
When I saw the live performance, I was like, it's all good, but Anthony Kiedis was just he wasn't there. Like he didn't have the passion that he used to.
Yeah, and it's honestly disappointing to me. Because
this album had such great potential.
I feel like if Anthony Kiedis gave a better performance, this album could have been a really good album.
If he would have taken out a few of the songs, cut it down to about 10 or 12, like, and you know, made Anthony Kiedis like get it more into it. Like I do like the Great Apes, and he sings on all these.
Yeah,
I like These Are the Ways. I like White Braids and Pillow Chair. That one has a really
Mouth Dance,
cool guitar riff,
pretty cool instrumental
bass.
stuff.
Oh, the bass on that, amazing. But like, it's an album that was, oh man, if Anthony Kiedis was given the drive that he used to, like it would have been really good.
It was just a little disappointed, which made it a breath of fresh air after listening to this to listen to our next album.
So our next album,
because this
funny
next
enough,
one was good.
This next one, holy shit, came out of nowhere. I heard a couple of the singles. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I heard some of the singles because I keep up with it. And it's Jack White. It's the first time we talked about him in here. I could talk about the White Stripes, I could talk about the Raconteurs, but no, we're talking about a Jack White solo album, which is something I never thought I would do, honestly.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, the White Stripes, that's pretty much Jack White solo. Let's be real. Like, Meg White didn't, like, contribute to songwriting or anything that I know. Not too much.
You want to know one thing I noticed immediately? First song on this album. So there's some cool, like,
Let's talk about it.
I mean, this album.
Wait, real quick before you get into it.
Yeah, what is the album?
Fear of the Dawn by Jack White.
I'm jumping ahead of
Came out April 8th. Very recent.
Yeah.
It was recorded
6 days ago.
It was recorded at Third Man Records in Nashville, one of his studios.
This album came out after our last episode came out. We couldn't have even covered this sooner.
No, yeah, seriously. This
we
is
are
as
right
soon as
on
we could
this.
cover it. And, like, when I told you, I was like, oh, shit, Jack White came out with a new album. I was like, okay, I got to check this out. If it's anything, we're going to talk about it. Like,
Yeah.
And it is something.
It is, yeah. Well, I mean, first thing I notice is that it's got, I mean, while it's solo Jack White and some of his newer stuff has been, he's experimented with some folky stuff.
Well,
admittedly,
he does what Jack White does. He goes like from bluegrass
to
like electronic.
Admittedly, I actually am a fan of a lot of his solo stuff.
Yeah,
I like that.
And apparently he's got another album coming out this year.
Oh wow,
like in the summer.
He's working hard then.
Yeah.
Have you listened to the album he did with Neil Young?
I haven't.
Dude, he did an album with Neil Young, all recorded in one of those like really old school like one person recording booths.
Nice.
That he has at his Third Man Records or whatever it is.
Yeah, my dad, he's actually been to the Third Man Records in Nashville.
Nice. Yeah.
Apparently
at Third Man Records they have that booth and you can go in and like pay.
Yeah, you can pay and like record. You can record a song
booth.
in there.
Him and Neil Young recorded an album in that.
In that little booth.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I mean, I'm sure they added other stuff to it. But no. The first thing I noticed is that it's driving. It's like old White Stripe stuff where it's just driving electric guitar, but there's more.
Let me tell you. So his last album, Boarding House Reach, back in 2018. It was his most experimental album. It was a lot of electronic stuff.
I was less into that one.
That one, I was like, okay, like cool, good for you, but like it wasn't an album I could listen through the whole thing. There was like a couple songs, like Lazaretto, I think, on there. If that's on that one, I don't know. His albums kind of blurred together.
Lazaretto was
his own album,
which was a decent album.
Yeah, that was decent.
I liked that one.
But this album, like, holy shit! Like, I was like, man, I gotta check out the new Jack and Blunderbuss.
Blunderbuss
that was
good.
his first solo album.
I liked that one a lot.
That one was just strictly guitar driven, bluesy. Like, it didn't R&B driven. Like, it didn't have like much experimental stuff.
I like this album cover.
Yeah, it's a cool album cover, and yeah, he dyed his hair blue and everything.
Yeah, he looks weird with it, but whatever.
Yeah, he always does. But
it works with the album cover because of the color.
Yeah. And it's spooky and everything.
Yeah.
But this album,
Jack White is a spooky man.
So I've heard "Taking Me Back" because that came out when the latest Call of Duty came out, which I was surprised that he had his song marketed with that. He usually doesn't do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's not into that shit normally.
But Call of Duty had his song, and I thought it was just a single. I didn't know it was going to be with an album.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was just a single for the game or whatever for marketing, and it was a cool single, Taking Me Back, and it's a good opening song. That's the opening song of this album.
Yeah.
Then the other song that I heard before this was Heidi Ho.
Oh, yeah.
And I got some good things to say about them.
I like that one. I started listening to the album, and Taking Me Back, that song, it starts playing, and I'll tell you what my immediate thought was. So, like, the electric guitar comes in, and it has a cool drum beat in it. And my immediate thought was like, wow, this is like White Stripe, but with a good drummer.
Yeah. And as far as I know, this is like his first digitally recorded album, as far as I know.
Oh, yeah, because he likes to do analog stuff.
Yeah, and this is the first time he's going into the digital route. And it works, honestly. Like, so, yeah, you have Take Me Back. That's the big single from this, but I don't think it's the best song.
Yeah.
I really don't. It's really good, and it's a good banger. But then it goes straight, and I love when albums do this and when it works. But it goes straight into the next song, Fear of the Dawn.
Yeah, so
the title track.
This album, I was mentioning Letter Home. It's
Oh.
It's actually technically just marketed as a Neil Young album, but is recorded with Jack White.
Nice.
Third Man Records, and Jack White plays guitar and does singing in it too.
Nice.
So
That's cool. I'll have to check that out.
Really good album, actually. Anyway, sorry.
But I got the pleasure of seeing Jack White playing live solo and then also with the Raconteurs.
Oh, dude, I'm jealous of that Raconteurs.
I thought about talking about, and I got to see them play baseball.
Yeah.
But, I've thought about talking about the Raconteurs album and maybe down the line. But, this one, I was like, you know what? Jack White's got a new album. I'm going to give it a good listen to. And if it's anything, we're going to talk about it. And, damn, for me, it's so far the best, new rock album of 2022 of this year for me, as far as rock goes.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it goes straight into Fear the Dawn, and that one reminds me a lot of old White Stripes stuff, like Black Math, from, I think that's from Get Behind Me, Satan, I believe, but or is that from White Blood Cells?
There's some cool moments in these songs, and I don't remember which song it is. Admittedly, when I listened to this album, I didn't pay much attention to what
blurs
songs.
Together. Yeah,
yeah. I just
in a good way.
I just listened to it and let it be. But there's some.
But
cool,
then Heidi Ho.
Yeah, there's some.
That
cool,
one's got rapper Q-Tip on it.
I liked that. That was fucking.
And that
awesome.
one, at first, I was like, okay, interesting.
I was immediately into it.
But it's fun.
I was
it's really good.
I was like, all right.
It's really grown on me. I'm like, damn, this is really cool.
And there's some experimental stuff, but
and Esophobia.
It doesn't overstay its welcome, the experimental stuff. Because
it's the right amount of experimental.
Well, it's I don't know.
Because the last album was a little too experimental.
Well, it's
me.
I don't remember what song it is, but there's at one point in one of the songs where it's some driving guitar and drum beat, and then it bridge hits, and it's into some weird synth stuff.
Into the Twilight, perhaps?
Maybe it was Into the Twilight.
I really like that one, actually.
And I was digging it because it was still a driving song and then just had a little break with some.
But what I like about this whole album,
stuff.
it's got all the experimental digital synth and electronica and everything in it, hip-hop, whatever. But it's still driven by electric guitar.
Yeah.
And that's what Jack White's known for. I mean, he's an electric guitar guy.
He doesn't want to be known for it, but it's what.
But he is known for it,
and it's what
I don't know what he
does best.
I don't know what he wants to be known for, honestly. Enigma.
Yeah.
But Esophobia, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, and I looked it up. That means the fear of the sunrise, the dawn.
Yeah.
Which is the same title, technically the same title as Fear of the Dawn, but that one's largely instrumental. It's got some lyrics here and there, but it's not really a song. Mm-hmm. But the guitar work,
a little 30-second.
The guitar work, no, that's Dusk.
Dusk. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the guitar work in Esophobia is amazing.
Esophobia.
It reminds me of Buckethead stuff, honestly, some of the stuff he would do. And then that was Then, This Is Now. That one's a good, pretty straightforward banger.
Into the Twilight, though.
But then you have Esophobia Reprise, which is fun. And then my favorite song off of this album, this is an album where I can just listen to the whole thing through and just really enjoy it and have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like Morning, Noon, and Night.
Mm-hmm.
That one has amazing guitar work, especially the solo, and it's got an electric piano synth solo in there.
Yeah.
And then you have Shedding My Velvet, which was a little bit more of a ballad. But funny enough, there's no acoustic song on this album. There usually is on a Jack White venture.
But I think it's probably better for it.
Because this whole album has... Every song has a distinct nature to it, distinct melody. But it has this whole tone to it.
I like Jack White's acoustic stuff, but I think the album is better for not having that in it.
Because that would break it up. That would be weird.
It's just, like I said, when I listened to this, I didn't pay much attention to what songs were I was listening to. I just put it on and it plays, and you get lost in it a bit.
It's just a fun album to listen to.
And here's another cool thing. It's only 39 minutes long. Which means,
it's right around 40 minutes.
It's short.
Well, it's not short. I wouldn't say that's short,
it's
but
shorter than most albums. Most albums are 45 to 50 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's slightly shorter than most albums.
It doesn't overstay its welcome.
It's a concise listening experience.
Yeah. And every song goes into the next.
Not a single song feels like weird filler. except for maybe Dusk, but that's 30 seconds, so it doesn't count.
That's like an in between the sides kind of thing.
Yeah, that's an Easter egg song. It's like
yeah, and I bet it has like a hidden song if you get the right kind of vinyl from Third Man Records or whatever.
Probably.
He always does. But like, I love how like
he likes that type of shit.
Take Me Back goes straight into Fear of Dawn, and then it goes into White Raven, and then so on. Like it just goes into each other, like flows well.
Yeah,
and like each song has its own distinct sound. And then you have Esophobia reprised, but like, or Ozo, I don't know how to pronounce it, Eosophobia, but
yeah, I don't know.
But I just love how it all flows together. It all has this concise sound to it. Like it doesn't sound. They all fit together. Like it fits as an album, and honestly. This is the first Jack White album solo that I've listened to the whole thing and enjoyed.
Yeah.
On a lot of his other solo albums, like Boarding House Reach, for example, I'll skip over to the ones I like. Lazaretto, I skip over to the ones I like. Blunderbuss, I'm like, oh, a lot of this is kind of basic. But like, man, this one, I think this might be his best work.
I would agree. I mean, I've listened. I like some like Blunderbuss.
Solo wise,
Blunderbuss might have been basic. I still really liked it. Lazaretto
oh yeah,
was
it's a
pretty
rocker.
good. I listened to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Acoustic recordings doesn't count.
Well, that's just a compilation. Yeah.
Going through Wikipedia here.
Boarding House Reach.
I didn't love Boarding House Reach.
I mean, that was the one I was like, oh, that
one.
is cool how he's getting experimental, like with the electronic and like everything.
But
then
this one
was
really good.
What makes it work, it still has that classic White Stripes guitar-driven sound, but then you have all the synth and the electronic and the digital shit like going on with it, and it just works really well.
Yeah. I would agree.
And
good album.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I got to include this album. It's brand new and it's good. So, and because I
remember you texting me being like, should we change up the format? Should we replace an album? Because you wanted to include this, and we were just like,
let's just add it on.
Let's just do 5 albums.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to get mad at us. And if you are mad at us for breaking up the format, why?
And I'm not going to lie.
Why do you care that much?
Yeah, why do you care? But I'm not going to lie. I wanted to include Unlimited Love by Red Hot Chili Peppers because it's a new album with songs I like, but for the most part, it kind of falls flat as an album.
Yeah.
Not saying it's a bad. I wouldn't say it's a bad album.
If you love the Chili Peppers, still listen to it. Go listen.
And if you can get over Anthony Kiedis just kind of being a caricature almost of himself,
and hell, maybe you will like his vocals. We just didn't.
It's like I don't pay attention to the vocals on that album really. I pay attention to the instrumentals.
Yeah, because the instrumentals are top notch.
Yeah,
they are very good. But it was ultimately a disappointment. But Jack White was not a disappointment.
Fear of the Dawn, yeah.
I thought
that's definitely one we would recommend. That
it's
album.
really good. Yeah. So, as usual,
we'll add to the playlist and we'll include that into our description.
Yeah. Are we gonna add some chili peppers in the playlist too?
Oh, we will. Yeah. I mean, we kind of have to. We got to include every album,
even if we don't love it.
I'll pick out the best ones. Maybe just one of them.
It'll still be in there somewhere. It'll be represented.
And we will make sure to put that in the description. And the link may not work on all platforms, but you can copy it. We'll have it where you can copy it.
And it's a Spotify playlist, so you can
I don't think we should copy it.
It's a Spotify playlist, so you could probably look it up. We'll put the title of the playlist.
Adjunct playlist.
Yeah, we'll not just put the link, but the title of the playlist that you can look up on Spotify if you can't click the link.
And it's got every other album we've talked about on this series before.
Yep.
And like 2 or 3, I think like 2 songs from each album.
Something like that.
So you can kind of hear a good smorgasbord of what we like.
Yeah.
As far as these albums go. And there you go. That's about it with the episode.
Pretty good representation of new albums here we got.
Yeah, I would say so.
And some
there's some jazz albums I've been thinking about. There's some funk albums. I mean,
this playlist is going to
diversify
weird.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
It's going to be a weird playlist.
Yeah, I was thinking of trying to diversify a little bit. I mean, like, I've been really into Norah Jones recently.
Wow, I wouldn't expect that from you.
Norah Jones is fucking awesome.
She is, yeah.
I've also been really into Bing Crosby.
There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just come out with a Primus or Megadeth album next
Yeah,
time. Who knows?
we'll do an episode where
Just a,
I
nothing.
choose old school crooners and he only chooses like hardcore metal.
Yeah.
And it'll be a good dynamic, and it'll make our playlist really fucking weird.
It's gonna be a weird playlist. That's why it's the Odd Drunk playlist.
Yeah,
We're odd.
as long as they're either new albums or albums we like,
Exactly. New and old. Yeah.
or one of these days maybe I'll throw you a curveball and pick an old album that I hate.
Just an album we despise.
Just be like,
But we'll still
be like, this is not a new album. For us to stay relevant, I just thought I just really wanted to shit on this for 20 minutes.
Yeah, every once in a while that we're having. Well, anyways, that's the episode. Go ahead, leave us a rating or review on whatever platform you're listening to. And if it's Apple Podcasts, leave us a nice review or a not so nice one. But if it's a not so nice one, we will read it on air.
Yeah,
I can promise you that.
We will shit on you.
We will.
About it.
But anyways, but we won't shit on anyone that leaves us a nice 5-star.
No.
But everyone's welcome to their own opinion, and
yeah, no, legitimately, we want you to give your honest opinion, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
So,
and we'll see you next.
Yeah,
week.
see you next. Message us if you have requests for episodes or anything like that. We have all our info in the Linktree. You can message us on Instagram or email or whatever you feel.
If you
like.
follow us on Instagram, let us know. Add us.
And we never have people like tell us what they want to hear on the podcast or anything like that.
Yeah, we would like to hear
so
that
if one of you has an episode idea, we will probably take it seriously and
that'd be nice.
maybe do it.
Because we need ideas.
Yeah. So anyway.
That's about it. It's Odd Drunk Podcast and we're out.
This is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. The Odd Drunk Podcast recommends you follow their Instagram and join their Facebook group for more fun content. To visit all of our current streaming and social media platforms, visit the link tree in the description. If you enjoy the show, we would be appreciated if you would leave a review on Apple Podcasts. The Odd Drunk Podcast would like to remind you to drink responsibly and not to drink and drive. Okay, Colton, you can roll the outro now.
I thought we said we were done. What are you still doing here?
Yeah, what are you doing here? Get out of here, you loiter.
Every fucking week.
There's always somebody.
We have to remind you.
It's always you.
It's always
you listening.
Brian. God damn it, Brian.
Yeah, it's Brian.
Go to bed.
Yeah, it's like 3 a.m. now.
It's 3 a.m. For
you. Actually, it could be like during the day. I don't know.
No, it's probably 3 a.m. because Brian, I know, we know that you stay up late when you shouldn't, and we know that you.
As do I.
You just didn't eat anything healthy today, and you're probably feeling you go get some sleep.
How much wine did you drink?
How much wine did you drink, Brian? What was it? A whole bottle? Was it 2 bottles? Stop it. Go to bed.
Get out.